Hey guys, Lewis Frost with Phobos Solutions, filming a tactical tip for Trigger Time TV. We're here at the Elite Firearms Training Center in Lumberton, Mississippi. We're going to take a little deviation from our normal topics about guns, and we're going to talk about fixed blade knives and other self-defense knives. We at Phobos Solutions are strong proponents of learning how to utilize all defensive tools, and that includes the use of edged weapons. Specifically, we like fixed blade knives, like this tremendous ZT-121. It's one of their nicer fixed blade models. It's in our personal inventory, so this wasn't just sent to us for this show. It's something we own personally. What we really like about fixed blade knives is traditional folders are a little bit slower to deploy, and generally speaking, the handles on them aren't quite as nice. This specific ZT fixed blade, the 121, is very strong. It's got a really wide back. It's got a really good edge. But another thing we really like about it is because with the fixed blade knife, you don't have to worry about drawing it and deploying it. All you have to do is draw it and it's already pre-deployed. So what it does is it allows us the ability to store this knife in our normal area where we keep all the rest of our defensive tools. If you're an appendix carry kind of person, you can conceal it just as easily. And if the situation presents itself, well, maybe somebody's already on top of you and you don't have the chance to deploy that firearm because of the constraints that you're working in, maybe the gun wouldn't properly function. All you have to do is, same basic premise, clear that cover garment, index that knife, and now you've got it in this specific, using that support hand grip, you've got it in that reverse grip. If you wanted to use your dominant hand, same thing. Draw that shirt up, and now you have that same fixed blade knife, easily deployable to cut that individual off of you if they're giving you a threat. You can also, by utilizing that support hand, you can access it, get them off of you, buy yourself enough time, and then if you need to, access that firearm and neutralize the threat if so needed. If you have any questions about this or any other further training, contact us at phobossolutions.com.
If you're going to choose to fight a knife-wielding attacker, you have to be ready to go with everything you have. Hi everyone, this is John with today's active self-protection lesson out of New York City. Shows us an armed robbery here with a very large knife and shows us some important lessons about choosing to protect yourself against an armed robber, about having tools available for you to do that, and about the tenacity it takes because you're on your own. As this armed robber comes into this bodega here in New York City, we're going to see him pull this incredibly large knife, and he finally notices that the employee is not behind the counter, but instead is stocking shelves. And this is as much notice as you might get as the victim of an armed robbery here, that this guy pulls this, half a machete for gracious sakes, and then comes after you. And that's exactly what he does to the clerk and uses this as an intimidation tool. I think the clerk does a pretty good job here of biding his time. He's compliant. He tells the guy, okay, I'm going to get you what you want. And, unless you're a martial arts master, that's probably the very best way to go here. So I've sped it up just a little bit for time's sake, as he's going to empty the register for the guy and decide and be very compliant and let him go till the guy starts to get off. And now the employee decides to pull the bat from behind the counter because he doesn't want to let the guy go. Now listen, that's his right to defend himself, but I don't know that it was necessarily a wise thing here because the guy would have left. But he did have a tool and he was using it. I don't know how this one would have gone different if he had a firearm though. So we can see him actually get right there, a really solid hit on the guy, but you notice that it broke his bat. So he went from somebody who had a range advantage to somebody who didn't, and now he's got to fight the guy empty-handed, and he's made the guy very mad by hitting him in the head with that bat. Talk about the 5 Ds here. When you're fighting an armed attacker and you're unarmed, did a pretty good job here of deflecting and then dominating that tool. You see him, he's got both hands on it, both arms on that, and those kind of empty-handed skills, even for firearms carriers, is very important. So now we're going to see him actually get the knife away from the guy and start to use it on him, though he is not trained with that, you can see, but he uses it to some effect here. You're going to see him get the guy in the leg and get him down, and now he's going to hit him in the head a few times with it as well, and if you're paying attention, the guy's starting to leak a little bit, and he's finally going to be able to get him down. But this is the kind of fight that you might have to be in if you're going to defend yourself against an armed robbery. And he got himself into this fight by choosing to fight the guy after he had already started to leave with the money. It's not something I would necessarily always recommend people do. And this is another reason that I think that we should keep firearms on us, because this fight might have gone very, very differently. All in all, though, I think the clerk did a good job. He covered his ass.
Hi guys, I'm Nate Stokes from Advantage Group and welcome to the Gear Locker. Today we're going to talk about a really exciting new product from the folks at Kinetic Development Group. It's going to be their side lock optics mount. My friend Nate Murr with Kinetic sent us some samples of it and I've really been excited about them and the utility they provide. So let's talk about why I think they're great. The AR-15 rifle in all its various calibers has become a really popular versatile carbine. Versatile option with a lot of utility in different roles for different shooters. One of the things that's always been a limiting factor is the cost of the platform. It's not an inexpensive rifle. A lot of people can't afford to own several of them for different single-purpose roles. So what they'd like to do is have one rifle they can do a lot of different things with. One of the limiting factors in that has always been optics choice. So for instance, if this PWS rifle is set up as my home defense gun and I've got a micro red dot on it like the Romeo 5 from SIG Optics, that limits my ability to take the rifle into the woods and say, use it for deer hunting. The folks at Kinetic Development Group have solved a lot of that. And what they've done is create what they call the side lock. It's a quick on and off, quick detach optics mounting system, and here's how it works. If I wanted to mount this Tango 6 variable power optic from SIG Electro Optics on the rifle, all I have to do is line it up on my pick rail and rock it right to left, and it locks into place. It's on there, it's not coming off. The mount's returned to zero. If I take this off, put it in my truck, mount up a different optic, and then want to switch it back out, all I've got to do is remount it and it's going to return to zero for me. If I'm done hunting for the day and I want to mount a different optic, I take it off. My home defense optic mounts up the same way. All I've got to do is rock it on right to left. And now the optic's mounted. So I'm able to use one rifle by quickly changing out the optics and many different roles. I think it's a really versatile solution. I'm really excited about it. Good work, Nate.